There is some question about when and how the first writing originated. These 8,600-year-old symbols on tortoise shells were found at Jiahu, Henan Province, China, and may be precursors to early writing. Not all scientists agree on that point, but there is little argument about the earliest writing in Mesopotamia. Sumerian writing was invented about 5,500 years ago. The earliest writing was in pictograms, simple pictures that represented objects, impressed or incised into wet clay. Over time, these pictures were eventually reduced to a series of wedge-shaped signs pressed into clay called cuneiform. But why did people start writing in the first place? Well, like all inventions, writing began because there's a need for it. People didn't have to rely on their memory anymore. Imagine having to remember how many jars of perfume you traded over the course of a month, or having to memorize the Epic of Gilgamesh. In Mesopotamia, writing developed as a record-keeping device for commercial transactions or administrative procedures. The evolution of writing occurred in stages. In its earliest form, commercial transactions were represented by tokens. A sale of 4 sheep was represented by 4 tokens designed to signify sheep. At first, such tokens are made of stone, but later they were created from clay. Tokens were stored as a record of transactions. Looking at the image, you'll find a copy for the content for this chapter. If a person sold 10 loaves of bread, the tokens for numeral 10, this sphere with a curved line, would be stored with the token for bread, this cone with a line around it. How would you designate that you purchased 60 cows? Okay, well, here's a cone that means 60, and this token designates cow. In the next stage of development, pictographs, simple pictures of an object, were drawn into wet clay. These images replaced the tokens. Instead of using 4 sheep tokens, a scribe could draw the pictograph for sheep and the numeral 4 next to it. By the way, the Sumerians had a base 60 numeral system with a sub-base of 10. However, they did not have 0. The Babylonians invented 0 about 2,300 years ago as a placeholder. Through this process, writing was becoming disentangled from direct dictation. More complicated number systems began to develop. The pictograph symbols were refined into the writing system known as cuneiform. Cuneiform written symbols can be quickly made by highly trained scribes through the skillful use of a reed stylus. Eventually, writing became phonetic as well as representational. Once the writing system had moved from being pictographic to phonetic, it could communicate ideas more effectively, things like names and words and ideas. With cuneiform, writers could tell stories, relate histories, and support the rule of kings. Cuneiform, which began as an accounting system, was eventually used to record literature such as the Epic of Gilgamesh. Cuneiform was used to communicate and formalize legal systems, most famously Hammurabi's Code.
Created using Powtoon.